What these technocrats are playing with is not science at all. It's just a guessing game. But this is the world we live in today. And I'll tell you, this is why these technocrats do not have any relationship to the reality that you and I live in. They're simply living in a different world. Science is being used to create a net of scientific dictatorship. And this is not communism and it's not socialism, which had some relationship to the people. Technocracy is all about engineering society. That is, they will make all the decisions and you will be like cattle in a feedlot where they will push you from pen to pen and they'll give you shots for this, that, and the other and antibiotics and feed to keep you alive, and you'll do what they tell you to do and you won't have any say about it whatsoever. This is a return to feudalism in a sense, and they called it the Dark Ages back then because it was very dark. And the landlords, the land barons, owned everything. They owned all the property in the realm, and the people were paupers, and they had to live at the instance of the land barons on some portion of their land. And if they found favor with the landlord, they were allowed to stay, but they had to give 90% of everything they grew to the landlord. And so it was a very dark period of time. Well, this is the direction that the world is headed in right now. They're offering this new system, this new resource-based system, under the name of sustainable development, and it's sweeping the world right now. So if they can kill capitalism, free enterprise, they'll have their system implemented faster. And of course, the Marxist elements of the world are very good about destroying capitalistic systems. They've done it for decades, right? For centuries. And they're doing it again. So they get their way, they get the run plan to destroy the existing order. But when it is destroyed, technocracy intends to rise out of the ashes and take over the world. It really is critical for people to assess where they are in relation to this coming system. And there is one last line of defense. I believe it happens to be the local community that you live in. This is the only area that you can defend legally at this point, and you can make a tremendous difference in your city and your county as to how much of this stuff comes into your city or county. You can block it through binding resolutions and through county orders. And Americans have been asleep at the switch for the last 30 to 40 years, never saw this coming, never saw it coming. They're still, and even today, they're still thinking, oh, they're wrecking our country and everything, and they just don't even see what we're talking about. They don't get it. The way to put the kibosh on these people, if there is one, is to simply withdraw. You have to withdraw from the Facebooks and the Twitters of the world. And if you have to have a social media platform, there are alternatives. Go use them and quit whining about losing Facebook. Facebook is not the only one in the world. The thing that really is disturbing about Facebook, Twitter, and they were all started with seed money from the U.S. government. They have all been instrumental in the intelligence community ever since they were started. People can withdraw. If they stay with the Facebook and continue to interact with, that's their fault. You know, they need to quit whining and just go do it and be a slave of the system, so to speak. The people that run these companies are technocrats. They're not socialists. They're not Marxists. For instance, you can't look at an Eric Schmidt or an Elon Musk or a Jeff Bezos or any of these big billionaires at the top. You can't look at them and say, oh, there's a Marxist. They show no signs of being Marxist or communist whatsoever. They're technocrats. And whoever would call them, well, it's just communism coming at us. No, it's not. These people they're different. They're not American anymore. We have to get over that myth. They started out in America by and large, but they rapidly grew outside of American borders. They're now global. They're totally global companies. The billionaires and collectively now trillionaires that run this giant cartel of technology around the world, these people are completely given over to this great reset idea that we see at the United Nations, where the world's going to be flipped upside down. Capitalism and free enterprise is going to go by the wayside, and technology is going to control everything. The algorithm, ruled by AI, will control everything in sight. This is the essence of a scientific dictatorship. They believe so strongly that they're doing a benevolent thing for mankind that they have no conscience whatsoever telling them this isn't a good idea. They think it's a great idea. And these people, in that sense, I will contend, are absolutely stark raving mad. Elon Musk, who runs Tesla and SpaceX and the Boring Company and a number of other high-tech companies that are disrupting the world right now.
Only on
His grandfather, Dr. Joshua Haldeman, was from Canada. And during the 1930s, he was the grand poobah, if you will, of all of the technocrats across Canada. In other words, all the provinces, the leaders of the provinces answered to Elon Musk's grandfather. And he ultimately left Canada, went to South Africa, where Elon was born. He then came back. He first started his education in Canada and came to America. He's not American, number one, but he was raised in a principal figure in the technocracy movement during the 30s and 40s. And Elon Musk exhibits all of the characteristics that I can find of a technocrat from the 30s and 40s. Everything. Now, this is the mindset of these people. They are not just capitalists gone astray. They are technocrats, and they're seeking a scientific dictatorship where they run everything. And I don't know how else I can explain it to people, but this is the fact of it. These people are not Marxists. They're not communists. You just can't level that charge at them. They want to control everything. That's the whole point of this scientific dictatorship. They want to end up
only on
all
positive.
Of the resources of the world, and they will let us participate to the extent that they feel they want to let us participate. You see this economic system in the definition I gave you earlier of technocracy. They talked about the scientific operation of the entire world mechanism, social mechanism, to produce and distribute goods and services to the entire population. Listen to the phrase, to produce and distribute goods and services to the entire population. That's what you have here. They want to produce and manufacture all the goods and services that go out to the population. You won't own it. They will own it. For those in government who think that they are using big tech to achieve their own ends, they are fools indeed, because they are as much the useful idiots for technocracy as are the Marxist, the radical Marxist element in America. They will be the first to be thrown under the bus by these people, and they could care less whether politicians live or die. They consider them to be idiots, buffoons, and just, plain stupid as far as humanity is concerned. They'll be gone. When the technocrats get enough power, they will simply dismiss them and send them all home. People are searching for answers right now, and they need to get out and tell people, mix it up with people, tell them what's going on, give them some tangible hope. It's a lost art right now, how to communicate. And the world has been so fragmented for the last 10 years, 15 years that people have just lost the ability to communicate anymore.
Only on Johnny Bigger.
It's learnable, it's teachable, and we're teaching. And we're helping people to get their feet back on the ground, to go out and persuade people and to talk to people in the public arena.